Hello, as Irina kindly said, I'm Eva, and I've launched the platform Resource. And with the Resource, I'm trying to help beauty brands understand sustainability. And I'm mostly talking to marketers and product development managers, because I found that the one that talk the most to consumers, they don't necessarily know how to talk to them, because they don't know what sustainability entails most of the time. Not because they don't want to, but because sustainability is really complex. It's actually really hard to know. If you want, with the QR code, you can actually download this presentation. It's got a different name on the website when you download it, but it's the same content. So you can get the QR code, or I can send it to you afterwards, or whichever. There we go. So the idea with the resource then is to educate professionals, because we need to educate consumers, so we need to know what we talk about when we talk about sustainability. And I find that the sustainability is very complex, because actually it's a bit of a wishy-washy. Everybody says that they're sustainable today, but are they really? Don't think so. So for me, the sustainability is defined in 3 pillars, and it's all integrated. You know, when in the early 2000s, we're talking about communications agency to be integrated. Now sustainability, I feel, needs to be integrated, meaning everything needs to work together. So there is the people, the prosperity, and the planet. This is the triple bottom line. Usually, instead of prosperity here, we have profit, because we're here to make profit. But I've decided to call it prosperity, because to me, prosperity is a wider aspect of making money. It's not just about money, but it's just about also having a prosperous life, meaning that if you gain skills, let's say that you are making fragrance, you source your fragrance from Madagascar, and it's vanilla. Let's say you source vanilla from Madagascar, and then you help the farmers there improve their skills in growing the vanilla, making it better. And so at the end of the day, they become more prosperous because they have better skills, so they have better life, if you like. And so it's not just about, so that's why when you think about sustainability, you need to think about all of these 3 aspects all together, not in separate silos. And also, you need to think in circular system, meaning you create, you use, you waste, but also you recover. You try to do it in a full circle. So you need to be aware that also sustainability is not actually a full circle, it's more like this and like that. So they're circle, so it's not really round. Maybe in 10 or 20 years time, it will be like more like a circle, but today it's a bit like, you know, we're not getting all around circle, and then at the center there's purpose. Why do I put purpose? Because if your purpose as a brand, as a person, as a company doesn't align with your sustainability actions, then it will be greenwashing. Because let's say you claim 0 plastic, I don't want any plastic in my brand, and then one day you develop a serum, and then you need a plastic, because, I mean, tell me if you can do a serum without plastic today in the packaging, it's not possible. So you need to align your mission with your sustainability actions. So that's why this is complex, but this is a way to think about sustainability. Everything is integrated, all working together. Are you greenwashing? Do you know? You probably are, without knowing it, because we all do, because we don't necessarily know how to talk about sustainability. So the UN defines greenwashing as an attempt to mislead consumers. But to be fair, today, people are misleading consumers without actually knowing it. Because they say things that they think it's obvious, but actually, when you dig a bit deeper, it's not that obvious what they claim. Then when there's an exaggeration or misrepresentation, for instance, if you say, oh, because if you use my new mascara that is made of all natural ingredients, you're going to save polar bears. Are you really going to save polar bears? It's a bit exaggerated, you see. So you need to, whatever you claim, make sure you claim in relation to the level of actually things you're bringing to the market, and not overstate your product. And then when green relates to environmental claims, that actually you forget the context of ethical and social also impact. 40% claims online I deem to be misleading, the green claims. And then 94% thinks that brands, not government and everybody, needs to be more transparent. And sustainability is all about transparency. We're not saying that we are perfect, but in sustainability, we need to say, look, we'd like to do this packaging, we'd like to do this, but today the technology or the innovation is only allowing us to do that. Maybe tomorrow we'd like to do that. Then say it like that to consumers, instead of like saying we are using 100% plastic or 100% aluminum, whatever. Just say today we'd like to achieve this, but unfortunately we limit it to that, so we're doing that today. So state your choice and make your choices according to your brand values and ideas. Here's an example of things we shouldn't do. I didn't want to put the name of the brand because this is not relevant here, but multi-use, look, all of these logos mean nothing. They're very broad, very generic, so that doesn't mean anything. They're not even certifications. At least you could use certification, but these are not certified. And then, sorry?
They look like certification.
They look like certification. This is the idea. So I mean, recycle me, okay, fine. I'm multi-use. Responsible, recyclable packaging means nothing. What is recyclable in your packaging? What is responsible? So this is not specific. There's no proof, no credentials, or no commitment or accountability. It's on the packaging. So obviously in the packaging we have limited space, but brands can expand a bit more into their website, I guess. This for me are kind of an ideas of the claims that you should avoid. Why? Because a lot of the brands now are talking about zero waste. I won't name any brand as well, but there's like big brands are talking about zero waste. But in actual effect, whenever you produce anything, as you know, you generate electricity, water, or any type of waste of ingredients or whatever. So you can't really claim zero waste. Because if you want to claim something about sustainability, it needs to be full life cycle. From the beginning, from the sourcing, from the usage, to the discarding and to the maybe recovering. So you can't really claim zero waste because maybe your packaging is reusable and then you think you can claim zero waste, but to make your packaging and formula, waste has been generated. Eco-friendly because it's too generic, too broad, doesn't mean anything today. And even if you say that to consumers, they say, you know, they wouldn't even listen to you anymore. It's the same ideas like sustainable packaging. You know, if you manufacture something, it's not really sustainable, is it? So we need to use other words. Biodegradable, it's prohibited now in Europe, mostly in France actually. You can't use the word biodegradable for packaging because it's a bit misleading. People think that if you have biodegradable packaging, you can just throw that in your bin or in your garden and it's going to degrade. It's true it's going to degrade eventually, but some packaging needs still to have oxygen or a certain level of temperature or humidity, etc., to actually degrade. So it's not really clear. So that's why this has been prohibited in France. It's going to be prohibited in the UK as well, and probably elsewhere in Europe, and maybe in America too, I don't know. Greener, waterless, all of this as well. Because this is not really clear. Recyclable. Is your packaging fully recyclable? It might be in France, but it might not be in Germany or in Asia, I don't know. So because we are all trying to do products that are global, then we can't claim something if it's only workable in one country. So, yeah.
So what happens, I understand it's probably misleading,
yeah.
But in the meantime, you know, some of these.
Yes, I can give you some example of the thing. So, yeah, I will give you some example of the thing you can actually say. That I recommend. Not that, you know, it's your choice, obviously, but this is the thing. So first, you can use this actually to sustain your market, your cosmetic. This is the claim. This is the claim around cosmetics today in Europe. If you want to make a cosmetic claim, you need to make sure that the 6 legal criteria are validated. And I think this is a good framework as well for sustainability. Because if what you say is legal, then you have chances that it's more sustainable as well. It's more true regarding sustainability. Is it true as well? Like if you say zero waste, is your packaging actually zero waste? Is it really true? Oftentimes it is not true because, as I said again, when you manufacture it, when the consumer use it, it's not zero waste. Give you an example for shampoo and rinse off products or products that you use to shower, etc. 70 or 80% of the carbon footprint is within the hands of the consumer when they use your product, because they use water, they use electricity, they use etc. And so oftentimes the carbon impact is going to be on the usage. So that's why, is it true? Do you have evidence to prove what you're claiming? Are you know, like, what can I say? All natural, 100% natural. You need to show that it's actually all true. You know, you need to prove this. Honesty. Are you honest? Is it fair if you compare to other products? Like, you know, my product is 100% biodegradable compared to this one. Is it fair to say that? And did you make an informed decision? And this is where I come in, and this is where people need to make, you know, to keep informed about what actually is going on with sustainability. And oftentimes we tend to take shortcuts. Yes. Okay, so this is the scope of like the green claim, what people think is a green claim. Today is not, to be fair, green claim are not really legalized, kind of. There's no law enforcement regarding claims you can make or not make. But a lot of standard advertising associations are defining some claims, and also market regulations are defining the way we can make an environmental claim. Today, this is not legally binding, but it could be in the next few years. So that's why we need to watch out for this. This is a definition of what comes into a green claim. Anything that talks about environmental impact, of less damaging the environment, of competing, like talking about this, anything, even the colors of your logo, even of the thing that you use, even this could be considered a green claim. The meaning of any term that you use in your marketing, whether online, whether on your pack, whether on your advertising, anywhere you use anything. So it means that one day, if there's a regulation, this could come into under the regulation of the green claims, and you need to be careful. Qualification explain everything that you say, the evidence that supports the information. This is the definition of what a green claim is, kind of, okay? And even the colors, if you use colors, give you an example. 15 years ago, I think maybe 20 years ago, McDonald's in France, they were accused of greenwashing as well, because they changed their logo, the background of the logo, there's the yellow arrow, and it's red, the background, in France it's become green. It was 20 years ago. And so this was claimed to be kind of greenwashing, because like you change for green logo and then suddenly you are more sustainable. And so that's why, even the colors and pictures, even if you don't say anything, even if you use just colors and pictures, this could be in the green claim, and you could be accused of misleading claim just in your pictures. And so again, this is the criteria that you need to use. I'm not going to repeat that, but you get the idea, I think. Okay, clear? And then this is the claims that I would recommend. Instead of zero waste, you could say less waste or waste reduction. And then you explain underneath, we have designed this packaging to reduce the waste. And material is composed of X percentage of this and that. You detail the packaging. Instead of saying reusable packaging, partly refillable, or reusable packaging, partly recyclable packaging. And you say, part of this product packaging is curbside collected or is collected at home, broken down into more materials, it can be repurposed and redesigned into new packaging. So it's a bit complex because you have to go a bit more in details, but in this way, you are less likely to be accused of misleading, because then you actually explain what you're trying to achieve. And I'm not saying this is a recipe, but in a sense, you need to be a bit more, this is very broad, recyclable, reusable, zero waste. This is a bit too generic. So what I'm saying is like anything that is very like black and white, you try to avoid now. You need to be a bit more in the nuance. And that's why I think we are now in the educational marketing. We need to educate people. We need to tell them why we did this, why we are doing that, why we recommend them to do this. It takes time, but today we have TikTok, Instagram, all of these people are ready to be educated to listen. I know it's a lot of time, but also use influencers. There are many influencers in the market. You have a lot of cosmetic chemists. You have a lot of, you can use me as well. I'm using Instagram to talk about brands as well. And, use people around you to make these claims. So just to give you a recap. So if you communicate about sustainability, it needs to be on the full life cycle. So whenever you say, make sure that whatever you claim is actually considering the sourcing, because if you are going to use aluminum, there's a mining process in there, and the mining of aluminum generates a lot of waste, and also a lot of pollution in the air, the soil, etc., and population are being earthly damaged as well, impacted on the earth. So using full aluminum, but is it really better for the planet? Not sure. And promoting more conscious consumption, refillable, recyclable home. It's about conscious consumption. We talk about the new trend now is conscious beauty. We don't want to push people to consume. We need to make money. This is the business model. We need to increase the sales, but we need to push for conscious consumption. If you push that, you're less likely to be accused of misleading again. If you help people to understand why they should buy this and how it works, etc., rather than you're gonna die if you don't buy this. You just the fear mongering marketing is gone. It was like 10 years ago, but now you can't do that anymore. Also now in the packaging, and this is true for most countries now, in France, in Italy, and elsewhere, you need to exactly explain how to discard the packaging. The cap, it needs to be in that bin, the pump will go there, the bottle is to go there, so you need to be very specific. There are specific rules about France, depending on the size of the packaging, where you have to just use just one logo or just like the full explanation where there's now a cartridge, if you like, at the bottom of the packaging where you split the details and you explain exactly how to discard. And when claiming recyclable, you need to make sure that your packaging is actually 100% recyclable everywhere in the world. Otherwise, you can't. You just need to can say partly recyclable. Okay. And so, yeah, that's it. So just in conclusion, make sure that you claim, is your claim under the green claim, under the green scope, is it? Does your claim follow the 6 claim criteria? Again, it's regarding the marketing claim for cosmetics, but still, this is a good way to check your sustainability and then full life cycle. From sourcing, manufacturing to using, discarding, etc. All right, that's it.
Such a clear and good review for this.
I hope you not can now.
For the very complex situation.
Yeah, it's very complex, but that's why you need to explain. Yeah, you need to explain to people why it's complex, and you need to explain to people what you're doing. And people are looking for transparency, and they don't understand. They don't mind that you can't do this today. If you say to them, "Look, I would like to have like a full 100% recyclable whatever," but it's not achievable if you have a serum today. I don't do that. So I do, as a brand, we've decided to make it refillable. Whatever you say, but just explain your process. People are really happy to be educated and understand why, because they're going to ask you the questions. So this is available. I mean, most of the content is available on the platform. I was only doing courses now, but from September, I'm going to develop like a membership platform where people can sign up to content for a monthly basis, and you have access to all of these type of reports, where we give more details about the claims, more detail about the packaging. I'm talking about formulation as well, what you need to take into consideration when you think about formulation. If you want to switch from silicone to other natural, what is the impact on your formulation, etc. And so all of this, because I think we need guidance about sustainability, because it's really complex and we don't want to be,